I Love a Clean San Diego started in 1954 under the name San Diego War Against Litter Committee. Since then, tens of thousands of volunteers each year pick up trash and clean away debris from San Diego's riverbed, beaches, and bays. My guest, Pauline Martison with I Love a Clean San Diego, joins me with an update on the city's clean factor. Kind of bringing us up to date here, Pauline. How has environmental trash in our region actually changed over the last 60 years?
Oh boy, quite a bit. So you mentioned we started as the War Against Litter Committee, and litter was a prevalent issue in San Diego along our streets and our roadways. And it was mostly perceived to be bad because it looked bad, and it was bad for tourism, which is, still not good things, but we weren't talking about it as in pollution and going out to the ocean. So I think it's just changed a little bit in perception. The types of trash have changed quite a bit. People used to, in the 60s, throw out an entire bag of their lunch, out their car while driving. And so the types of trash we see now are a lot smaller at the beaches and the bays. The change in single use and disposable and plastics that have come about is really what the major evolution in trash is. We see a ton of plastics now in our environment.
Okay, and how many people do you actually use, and how much trash do you actually pick up each year about?
So we mobilize 30,000 volunteers each year, and we remove almost 500,000 pounds of trash. We did some
500,000 pounds.
500,000 pounds of trash.
And this is less, as you were talking about, this is less, it's less weight, more volume perhaps, because you're not seeing things like refrigerators and as many grocery carts and things like that, right?
So we do have still some issues with larger items that include toxic things like refrigerators or thermostats, and we see those in our canyon sites. So it's smaller items at the beaches and bays, but still at those canyon sites, your Choice Creek and City Heights, we're finding some really big items. So.
And getting back to the early days as compared to now, do we still have litter bugs? I mean, really, the people who sit there and throw out trash out their window, is that as prevalent?
I think it's definitely a social norm to not litter. I do think so. I think it's also becoming a social norm to recycle. So I think that those behaviors are changing, but the litter is making its way into the environment still at a fairly alarming rate. So I think we need to continue to remind people not to overflow trash cans and make sure there's no illegal dumping happening in our canyons.
What your volunteers, what else do you do besides clean up trash? You mentioned, they're going to the canyons and the roadsides and things like that, not just at the beach, but also you do other types of pollution.
We do, and our volunteers are beautifying as well as removing litter. So we're doing graffiti paint outs and removal of invasive species as well as planting. But some of our larger programs are actually our education presentations in schools, as well as taking kids out into outdoor different environment experiences. And so we're talking to them about waste reduction and recycling when we're talking about how what a straw that might be put, left behind at lunch at school, how that might make its way into the beach where they're swimming at in the summer.
When it comes to community outreach and education, very important part of I Love San Diego, Clean San Diego, what sort of things do you do as far as actually trying to educate the public?
Yeah, so we do some awareness campaigns, and in the past we've had some fun ones in the 70s. Miss Slob contest, it was a bikini contest with college students that was represented Stop Littering Our Beaches and Bays. And so now we are mobilizing many groups of people to come out and be aware, see firsthand litter, and educating different adults and community groups. We're county-wide, so we're reaching all over San Diego County and talking to adults and youth and really making sure that most people who live here appreciate San Diego for the weather and the outdoor resources, and we want them to continue to protect that.
If you had to say one thing in moving forward that San Diegans need to do to be more conscious about cleaning up our outdoor pollutants, what would it be?
I think purchasing power for what they're going to buy, so buying things without chemicals in them and making sure to recycle.
Some good advice. Pauline Martison, thank you very much.
Thank you.